Hey everybody, how's it going? My name is Chris. Welcome to Stylist Meets Vinyl. Today I wanted to do a video about my top 20 favorite albums that I got for absolutely free. All of the records I'm going to show you today I did not pay 1 cent for. If you watched my vinyl intro video, I talked about how I inherited a collection from my parents. Some of these are those. Some of these are records that I've traded for. Some of these are records that I've been donated by other people. Some of them are records that were gifts from other people. So you're going to see a lot of, this is the top 20. So you're going to see a lot of heavy hitters here. Hopefully you're going to see some records that maybe you're not that familiar with, but you will see a lot of records that are common, but they're good. And the idea that I didn't have to pay anything for all of these records is pretty cool. So that's why I wanted to make this video. So let's get right into it without delay. Now I haven't ranked these in order of how much I like them, nothing like that, but they're chronological order. So let's get right into it. First one I want to show you, this is from 1967. Jimi Hendrix Experience, Are You Experienced? This is the debut album from Jimi Hendrix and The Experience. This album is killer all the way through. It starts with Purple Haze, Foxy Lady's on here, The Wind Cries Mary. Those are just some of the amazing tracks on here. This is an essential psychedelic rock album, and it's Jimi, man. Like you need Jimi you need him in your life. I have a handful of Jimi Hendrix. Actually, I have more that I was given, more that I didn't pay for, but this is the debut, so I wanted to get this one listed in here. So Jimi Hendrix Experience, Are You Experienced? That one is the first one. Next up is, you saw this in my Beatles video. This is Abbey Road. I chose this one, so if you saw the Beatles video that I made, all of those records, except for one, every single record that I showed, except for one, I did not pay for. There was one from John Lennon, the Plastic Ono Band. I paid for that record. I think I paid like 18 bucks for it. So that entire Beatles video cost me $18. This I chose because it is my favorite Beatles album. This is Abbey Road, obviously. This was my mother's. The Jimi Hendrix Experience that I just showed you was also my mom's. She had a pretty good taste in music when she was young. So you're going to see a lot of them from her and some from my dad as well. Dad, if you're watching, you had a good taste in music as well. So don't be offended. Abbey Road, number 2. This is from 1969. Next up, also from 1969, this one was my Faja's. This is Crosby, Stills, and Nash. This is their debut album, 1969. This is an essential folk album. If you like folk, you need to check this album out. It is a banger from start to finish. There's not a bad track on here. Also, the one standout track for me, Helplessly Hoping. If you don't know that song, check it out. The harmonies that these guys do together are incredible. So make sure you check this out. Crosby, Stills, and Nash. If you can find it for a good price, pick it up. Okay, next up from 1971, Joni Mitchell Blue. You would have seen this one if you checked out my top vinyl finds from 2021. This was a gift from my sister Heather and Robbie. This is another just essential folk album. If you like folk, if you like Joni, check this out. Joni pours her heart out on this album. It's very emotional, amazing. And if you don't know, Joni had polio when she was young. So she's got really interesting way of playing guitar. She downtunes her guitar to make it easier for her because she had like damage in her wrist and she wasn't able to grasp the guitar, the frets easily. So she had to downtune, and she's got some really interesting tuning. And as a guitar player, she's quite interesting. So make sure you check this out. Guitar playing, singing, and songwriting, all amazing on this album. Joni Mitchell, Blue. Next up, another folk. We're getting a lot of folk right off the bat. This is from 1971 as well. This is Cat Stevens, Teaser and the Firecat. Cat Stevens had a really hot period from like 1970 to 71, 72-ish, where he released a whole bunch of, he released like 4 albums in a row. I think he got injured and he was in the hospital. And while he was recovering, he wrote, I think, like Teaser and the Firecat, and a couple others. T for the Tillerman as well, like while he was sick. So it was a really creative period for him while he was getting better in the hospital. This one's got some really, really good ones. If you know, I don't even want to list them because they're all good. This is all good. A really nice one. Morning Has Broken, Moonshadow, Peace Train, Ruby Love, If I Laugh. The list goes on and on. If you like folk, if you like Cat Stevens, check this one out. This one was with my dad's. Okay, next up. This is from also 1971. This is the first great rock festivals of the 1970s, the Isle of Wight and the Atlanta Pop Festival. Some really heavy hitters on this one. Jimi Hendrix, most notably. So this is like a lot of blues. This is primarily like a blues type of album. Southern rock as well. You've got Jimi Hendrix, Johnny Winter, Sly and the Family Stone, 10 Years After. I mean, you can read them, right? Some really nice long versions. Mountain does a really nice long version of a song, as well as the Allman Brothers on here. Allman Brothers. So this is definitely one to check out. If you see it in the stores, it's a triple album. I definitely recommend checking out. Live triple album. And again, it's got Jimmy on it. It's awesome. Jimmy. It's great. I don't know if you've heard of him. His name is Jimi Hendrix. Next up, from 1971 as well, Led Zeppelin IV. This one was my father's. I got from him. This is, again, start to finish, amazing album. Black Dog, oh my God. Stairway to Heaven, Achilles' Last Stand, Four Sticks. Fantastic album if you haven't heard. Led Zeppelin IV. Really, really good. Hard rock album. Next up, getting into the prog. Close to the Edge, yes. This is from 1972. Actually, the next two I'll just do at the same time because they're both yes. The Fragile, Close to the Edge. I think this was 1971 or 1972, depending on what continent you lived in. And this is 1972. This one was first. This is essential prog. If you like prog, check out Yes. It can be some heavy, trippy stuff. It might take you a little while to get into them, but the musicianship on these albums are awesome. I don't want to say too much about these albums because I'm going to feature them in another video that's coming up soon with my friend Bongo. So yeah, I don't want to say too much. Close to the Edge, Fragile, amazing prog albums from Yes. Next up. This is 1972 as well. Neil Young, Harvest. This is Neil's, well, some might call it Neil's best album, but it depends on really what you like. He really came into his own. This is another one, start to finish, is just awesome. This is, again, I don't want to say too much about this because I'm also going to talk about this in another video, but this is great because Neil, the way that he records a lot of things in barns. His newest album with Crazy Horses called Barn, they recorded the whole thing in there. So you get a raw feeling of kind of a band that's just kind of jamming out. So definitely recommend this one. A Man Needs a Maid, Heart of Gold. I think Heart of Gold is on here, or else I'm mistaken. Out on the Weekend, A Man Needs a Maid. Yeah, Heart of Gold, Old Man. Alabama, Needle in the Damage Done. A lot of greatest hits from Neil on here. Next up, I think you guys have heard of this album before. Dark Side of the Moon, Pink Floyd. This is 1973. This was a gift from my friend King. This was a Christmas gift. It was actually the first Pink Floyd album that I ever owned. And I mean, what a great gift. What a great gift. Another essential prog rock album, start to finish, amazing. Time on here is probably my favorite Pink Floyd album of all time, no pun intended. Also Money, amazing, amazing. So many good tracks on here. Check it out. Next up, this one I wasn't sure if I was going to include on here because it's not like my favorite album in the world, but I wanted to get some more blues on this list, and this here is Roy Buchanan. That's what I am here for. So this was, I think it was my mom's from her collection. I had never heard of Roy Buchanan before when I first laid eyes on this album, and I gave it a spin and was kind of pleasantly surprised that it's bluesy. I was expecting something, I don't know really what I was expecting, but this is bluesy. Roy Buchanan, legend has it, I've heard that he was asked to join the Rolling Stones at one point, and he declined because he was battling with alcoholism, and he knew that if he joined the Stones, it would just be bad news. He would just, backslide. And unfortunately, I think it was around the 80s, late 80s, he ended up actually, I think he committed suicide in a jail cell, something like that. So it didn't go that great for him. But Roy Buchanan has some good albums, and this was sort of not my introduction to blues, but when I spun this, I was like, oh, I like this, and I should check out some more Roy Buchanan. And then I started thinking about other blues acts, blues bands, artists that I could check out as well. So, and I'm still on the hunt for more blues in my collection, but this was a nice little starter piece for when I inherited my collection from my parents. Next up, you saw me talk about this one earlier. This is Electric Light Orchestra, El Dorado. This is from 1974. Great concept album, also a prog album. Some really, really nice tracks on here. Laredo Tornado is amazing, amazing. Mr. Kingdom, also one of my favorites on here. Can't Get It Out of My Head. That's a song that you might not be able to get out of your head because it's catchy. So this is definitely one from ELO to check out if you ever see it. Super cheap too. You can buy this for like $5. Definitely worth it if you like prog and you like ELO, and maybe if you like the Beatles too. Okay, I'm trying to kind of go through these too quickly because I don't want this video to be too long. Next up, this album, so good. Maybe one of the best, maybe the best debut album of all time. But what do I know? You guys probably know better than I do, but let me know what you think. Boston, 1976. This is pretty much a greatest hits album. Like, there's almost every essential Boston album that you'd ever, or a Boston song that you would ever want to hear is on this. More Than a Feeling, Peace of Mind, Foreplay, Long Time, Rock and Roll Band. I can list the entire track listing, but rather you should just buy this album or listen to it or stream it, whatever you want to do. Listen to it. Also not an expensive album. You should be able to find this for like $10. Amazing. This was my girlfriend actually. She kind of inherited a collection, and I essentially begged her to let me have this because this was one that I was looking for. Not that it's hard to find, but I just hadn't found it yet. And she's a sweetheart, so she let me have it. And now we live together, so it's pretty much hers now too. Great album. Next up, we're getting into the hard rock kind of metal. Rainbow, Rising. I think this is Rainbow's second album. This is from 1976 as well. If you don't know Rainbow, so Rainbow is like Ronnie James Dio and Ritchie Blackmore. Ritchie Blackmore Ritchie Blackmore left Deep Purple to form Rainbow, and Ronnie James Dio had just come from a band called Elf. He joined Rainbow. He ended up leaving Rainbow to join Black Sabbath in 1980. And then he left Black Sabbath and then became Dio. Awesome album. So good. Some really nice licks on here. Really good guitar licks. Terrell Woman. Stargazer. So good. So good. Check it out if you see this. Buy it. If you like heavy, if you like metal, if you like hard rock, buy this album. Next up, Bruce Springsteen, Born to Run. This is from, I believe, 1978. So I showed Harvest earlier in this list, and I had actually 2 copies of Harvest. I traded my second copy with my friend Bongo, who I mentioned earlier. I traded him my second copy of Harvest for his second copy of Springsteen, Born to Run. I think that's a pretty good trade, especially because I already had Harvest. I didn't need 2 copies of it. This album, obviously, there's Born to Run on here. There's some really good ones. Thunder Road, most notably Jungle Land. The saxophone on Jungle Land from Clarence is amazing. Check this album out. Another one, start to finish, really, really good. Next up, keeping with the metal from before, we've got Blizzard of Oz. This is Ozzy's debut after he left Black Sabbath. This is actually the same situation. My girlfriend inherited this from a family friend, and now it's kind of joined our ranks of our collection. So this was an album that we did not pay for at all. Also, some really good classic tracks from Ozzy. Crazy Train, Goodbye to Romance, Mr. Crowley, Suicide Solution, which got them into a little bit of trouble back in the day. But this is the start of kind of Ozzy's solo career. Randy Rhoads is the guitarist on here. Definitely worth a look. If you like hard rock, if you like metal, check it out. Next up, keeping with the metal, this is Girls' School, Hit and Run. Girls' School is another band that I had never heard of. I didn't know them. This is from 1980. This is like the new wave of British heavy metal. Girls' School is kind of like Lemmy's from Motorhead. Lemmy, I think he discovered them, and he really championed Girls' School. So this album in particular, Hit and Run is their second album, but I learned that in North America, they kind of amalgamated their first album, which was called Demolition, and this album, Hit and Run, they amalgamated it in North America and released this. So this is like this is the best of their first 2 albums. But this is a really cool album. They've got The Race with the Devil, which was originally written and recorded by the band Gun, I think they were called. They do a really cool version of this. Watch Your Step, Hit and Run, Take It All the Way. Some really decent hard rock metal tracks on here. Check it out. Girls' School, Hit and Run. Okay, next up, Rush, Moving Pictures. I talked about this one already. I got lucky when my girlfriend inherited her collection. We put this on, and she knew Rush, but like we put it on and she was like, no, I don't like this. And so I was like, oh, I'll take it off your hands for you. So it was a win for me, but again, we live together now, so it's in her collection too. Really great album. Tom Sawyer, YYZ, Limelight, and also what's cool. So YYZ, anyone who doesn't know, YYZ is the airport code for Toronto Pearson International Airport, and the opening little bit of YYZ you can hear. It's Neil Peart hitting it's a triangle, or it's like I think it's a triangle, and it's ding 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 ding, or however it is. That's actually Morse code, YYZ, that he's hitting, and then the riff comes in. So it's a nice little tribute to Toronto. So thank you for that, boys. Rush, Moving Pictures. Okay, last one. This is number 20. This is another one that you would have seen if you saw my Beatles album, my Beatles video. This is Traveling Wilburys Volume 1. Traveling Wilburys was a super group made up of Bob Dylan, Jeff Lynne, Tom Petty, Roy Orbison, and George Harrison. Some really nice tracks on here. End of the Line, Handle Me With Care, Tweeter and the Monkey Man, Congratulations. Definitely worth a look if you like any of these 5 guys that are on the cover here. Okay, we're at just about 20 minutes, and that is my top 20 albums that I did not pay 1 cent for in my collection. You know what? I could have made a second video of just other albums that I also didn't pay for, but these were kind of the real bangers that I wanted to get in there. Anyone who gave me a record, don't feel bad. I still love it. If it didn't, just because it didn't make this list doesn't mean I don't love it. So don't feel bad. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, please subscribe. I've got a few other videos out there, so take a look if you like what you saw here, and stay tuned. Keep on the watch for even more videos coming from me. Thank you guys so much. Take care.